But the stronger problem for Jonah seems to be the lack of punishment for the wicked. Jonah's indignant that the Assyrians didn't get what they so richly deserved. And didn't I say this would happen? You always forgive. You're this slow to anger, compassionate guy. You always repent. The wicked are never punished. I'm fed up with the way you do things, God. Your mercy perverts your justice. And some things ought not to be forgiven. People must be held to account for their evil actions. How can God not do justice? Jonah sits in a little booth that he has constructed, and God causes a leafy plant to grow over him, providing shade and saving him from a good deal of discomfort. And the plant is to be the source of a final lesson for Jonah. Jonah 4, 6 through 11. Jonah was very happy about the plant, but the next day at dawn, God provided a worm, which attacked the plant so that it withered. And when the sun rose, God provided a sultry east wind, and the sun beat down on Jonah's head, and he became faint, and he begged for death, saying, I would rather die than live. And then God said to Jonah, Are you deeply grieved about the plant? Yes, he replied, so deeply that I want to die. Then the Lord said, You cared about the plant, which you did not work for and which you did not grow, which appeared overnight and perished overnight. And should not I care about Nineveh, that great city, in which there are more than 120,000 persons who do not yet know their right hand from their left, and many beasts as well? How can Yahweh not be compassionate? For even the most evil of peoples are no less his creation that he has cared for than precious Israel. And if they will only turn to him in humility, he'll wipe the slate clean. He'll show compassion and forgive. It is only human to long for the punishment of the wicked, but God longs for their reformation, their turning. The date of the book of Jonah really can't be ascertained, and you will hear arguments in both directions. Many scholars date it late. Others suppose that the story is at least at base an old story. Nineveh appears as another Sodom, basically. It's a story that is in keeping with that older Torah tradition in which it's assumed that God punishes non-Israelites or other nations for immorality, but not necessarily for idolatry. The Gentile sailors, even, who worship others, are not necessarily punished, and in fact it's said that they revere God and they're reluctant to throw this man overboard. Other nations are not obligated, in the view of this book, as in the early traditions of Genesis, to accept monotheism, but they're bound by a certain basic moral law, maybe the moral law of the Noahide covenant, and it's for this that God has decreed punishment. So the theme, or the basic problem in this short book, is the problem of God's justice versus his mercy. And Jonah is a champion of divine justice. He believes that sin should be punished. He's outraged at God's forgiveness. But Jonah learns that a change of heart is enough to obtain mercy, and that the true role of the prophet is perhaps to move people to reformation and turning.